gathering and processing and fisheries history. And I guess if I went into any kind of history on the Ocklawaha River since Rodman Dam was put in, I would say that back in 1961, there was only 2 river systems in the state of Florida that had a breeding population of striped bass. One of them was the Apalachicola and the Chipola system, and the other system is the St. John's Ocklawaha system. And since Rodman Dam was placed across the Ocklawaha, the striped bass can't spawn naturally anymore. It's been raised in hatcheries since 1970 at Palatka. The river, it needs more than about 50 miles of flowing stream current for it to reproduce naturally, and it can't do it. Rodman Dam has knocked Ocklawaha down to about 10 miles of flowing stream. So I guess I lobby for the striped bass. I love largemouth bass. I catch them all the time. I got nothing against largemouth bass. I've caught 10-pounders. We can catch them out of the river. We don't need Rodman Pool to catch them. But the striped bass cannot naturally reproduce with Rodman Dam blocking it. And it is a Florida native. Like I say, only 2 river systems in the state in 1961 were shown to have a breeding population, and one was the Ocklawaha St. John's, and the other was the Apalachicola Chipola. And the Apalachicola, they still can spawn because the dam that was placed there was placed 100 miles above tide water, so there's enough miles for them to spawn there. But the Ocklawaha River below the dam is only about 10 or 11 miles of flowing stream. Prior to that, it used to be 56 miles long to Silver Springs. And striped bass used to be found in Silver Springs, and they're not found anymore. They haven't been for years. So there are no striped bass in the Ocklawaha of Marion County. Oh, did you need to ask me some questions?
Maybe, yeah. You said you do a lot of work in the Ocklawaha Basin. What's your job doing that?
Well, I'm retired, but I was the data processing administrator for the state treasurer in Tallahassee. So I retired from there, and I'm just doing freelance work with Putnam County Environmental Council and Florida Defenders of the Environment. It's volunteer work. And the Ocklawaha has always been my outdoor home, so I just got into it. But I've studied the whole basin, all the way from the Green Swamp, which I used to live close to there at one time, and Lake Apopka. I've been on the highest mountain in Florida, which is Sugarloaf Mountain, which is right next to Lake Apopka. So that's also one of the beginnings of the Ocklawaha River. And Silver Springs, where most of the water comes from. And I've been in the swamps and the woods all the way down to St. John's.
That's great.
So our display is on Ocklawaha River ecology and fisheries, and we've got pictures of, we've got giant cypress trees that are 12 foot across, and oak trees that are 8 or 9 foot across that are on remote islands in the Ocklawaha Swamp. So it's a very unique wildlife area in the state of Florida, and unfortunately we lost 13,000 acres of it because of Rodman Reservoir. And thankfully, back in 1971, President Nixon stopped the rest of the project and saved a 19,000 acre reservoir that would have been Eureka Reservoir. So I feel we owe a lot to President Nixon as an environmentalist in the state of Florida. He is beyond peer. He used his power and stopped something that needed to be stopped. And saved 20 miles of the Ocklawaha plus Silver River.
You mentioned earlier being involved with like Florida Defenders of the Environment and that sort of thing. Were you involved with them like early on? Like what kind of stuff did you do?
Actually, I was just a hunter and a fisherman myself. You know, back then. You know, I really just since about 2003 or so, really wanted to get involved. You know, prior to that, I hunted and fished at my own time and explored. And I learned computers in the U.S. Army, and then I worked for the state of Florida and worked for the treasurer, comptroller, the chief financial officer. So I think 3 of the guys I work for run for governor, including the woman that just ran for governor.
Really?
Everybody
Wow.
becomes treasurer and wants to be governor. They were all good people. And Bill Nelson is the U.S. Senator. I used to work for him. I also worked for President Nixon. So. But that was long ago when I was young. But as far as history, I would just say that I just don't see how people think that man can do a better job of making an environmental place than God can. And the old Ocklawaha before Ravine Dam was a beautiful place, and we can restore it. It just takes some time. And we can still catch plenty of largemouth bass out of the Ocklawaha River. I've got plenty of pictures to prove it. Another thing about if we go into Ravine fishing is the dam has been there for 40 years, more than 40 years, and blocked the striped bass from spawning. And we've never caught a state record or a world record largemouth out of that lake since. You know, it's never happened. In fact, the largest largemouth bass ever caught in the Ocklawaha out of Ravine Reservoir is number 25 on the all-time list in Florida. A bigger bass was caught out of the Ocklawaha River itself. So it's not a matter of saving world record largemouth bass in Ravine Reservoir. It hasn't happened in 40 years. You know, how long are we going to wait? You know, but we have blocked this guy from spawning.
Okay. Yeah, that's cool.
I'll get my other half, Captain Erica, to come in here.
That would be great.